When an 8-year-old boy's childhood is stolen by the evils of the world, he discovers a way to exact his revenge by using the monsters of ocean to systematically eradicate those who have harmed him. If this tale of gore and retribution intrigues you, head to your nearest comic store and pre-order The Monsters of Jimmy Crown, brought to you by 21 Pulp, written by James Patrick and illustrated by Jim Hickman. This time they fucked with the wrong kid.
Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 32. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this bit-rated Wednesday evening, Earth Day, January 7th, 2015. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Satan laughing spreads his wings.
That's all you have for me?
It's Black Sabbath. I did No Doubt last week, Black Sabbath this week.
Okay.
It's the evolution of music.
The evolution of music, that's what you're going for on that?
That's all it is.
That sounds terrible.
Ozzy Osbourne was actually in No Doubt. Little known fact. Ozzy Osbourne is Gwen Stefani.
Wow. I completely and totally disagree with you. Alright, today we have with us a special guest, and we are also live streaming this shit on Twitch. So, really excited about that. I had to work through a lot of crap for it. So today we have with us Smokaloke. Hi, Smoke.
How's it going, guys?
You have a beautiful green screen of loveliness behind you.
Thank you.
It's very well lit too. I noticed that while watching your stream is you have very good backlighting for your green screen.
Still needs some tweaking, some improvement, but 'tis the life of a streamer.
Yeah, so how have you been doing?
I've been doing very well, man. Happy New Year, by the way, to you and yours.
Happy New Year to you as well. So this is our second interview ever, and we are still rusty as fuck on it. But I'm going to try and keep myself in frame as well. So I figure we'll just jump right into it. Today we're going to be interviewing Smoke.
Anything in particular you've been playing lately, like off-stream, that you've enjoyed?
I actually do not get a lot of time to play games off stream. It's extremely rare that I actually get to sit down and play a game while I'm not streaming. Yeah, it's one of the sacrifices.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I was looking at your schedule, and you stream a good 5 hours at least almost every day, right? Sometimes 8 or 9?
Yep. Typically, my schedule. Wait, are we doing the podcast portion now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
We're kind of recording audio and stuff. I don't know what's going on, so we'll just talk.
Yeah, run with it, Brandon.
All right.
Professional.
Yeah, so professional. Hey, that's half the battle. But yeah, I stream.
Our listeners have come to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say our listeners have come to expect nothing but the best from us.
The banter is real. You were asking about scheduling?
Yeah, I was just saying you have a lot of hours during the day that you're streaming.
Yeah. I start my stream typically every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and stream on occasion. I won't put in a full 8 hours, but it's rare for me not to stream from at least 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. or later. Typically, though, it's 7, 8 hours every day, and then
Wow.
some.
So you try your best to put in a 40-hour work week with it?
Oh, I put in way more than 40 hours a week.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
live streaming. Yeah, I try to
Yeah.
put in the 40. Yeah.
cool. cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, real good, real professional.
Is there a level of editing that you have to do with your? Because I know your videos go up live, and then you can look at past broadcasts and stuff.
No editing. The only really, I guess, type of editing would be highlights, which I don't
Highlights.
like to spam a bunch of highlights, and I try to keep them very short, clean, and to the point, usually 2 minutes or less, because me personally, when I go to watch somebody's highlight, it wants to be just a quick highlight, not a full broadcast.
Right.
And it's really just, if something happens during a session of streaming and my people are like, you need to highlight this, I'll quickly write down the time and then go back and basically crop out what they wanted highlighted and make it happen if it's worth it. So no, not really any editing, and I don't upload to YouTube, so no additional editing on my part.
Well, something I noticed just watching your Mario Kart stream last night towards the end, whenever you went into like the I'm done playing here, go into the raid moment, right before you left your channel to go into the raid, it switched to like that smoky background. Do you do those animations?
No, those are royalty. That particular image is a royalty-free. It's a royalty-free image. It's a video that I have looped. It's about a 3-minute long video that I have just on a loop. But aside from that, that is my artwork comes from, well, obviously the internet, royalty-free images, videos. But I actually have a couple of artists that I approach, but one artist in particular who has done, since I ever started, has been doing my artwork. He's done all of my emoticons, my profile design, t-shirt design. He does layouts and backgrounds and everything for me. I'm one particular guy. I love his art style. He's dedicated. He's good at what he does, and he takes my ideas and expands on them. So really one dedicated artist, and then just things I find on the internet.
That's awesome. I noticed, continuing with the raid thing for a minute, I've seen other Twitch broadcasters use that as well. And I think that that's a really cool idea because you, especially being a bigger streamer, are kind of giving exposure to somebody else, and you're bringing over your fans, even if it's, say this. I think it's a really neat idea. It seems like the Twitch community is a really good community.
It's an amazing community. I will say the thing about raiding, it actually violates the terms of service, section 13F, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
It can actually be considered harassment, but that's just all the legalities. And I've actually seen some streamers be raided that actually take offense to it. And, because a raid, depending on the channel and the caster and their chat, it can interrupt the flow of things. So my advice for anyone that is going to be streaming and thinking about raiding, I don't typically recommend raiding just a random target. Typically, you want to raid somebody that you're familiar with, or they're cool with raids. But yeah, as you said, it's great exposure. It's a great way to, well, hey, I'm not just going to disappear. Go find another stream yourself. It's, hey, why don't you come over to this stream? I'm going to be hanging out in a little. Come with me. Again, great exposure, and it's great networking as well, because that is a big portion of Twitch is networking. And yeah, it's just overall, it's a fun experience. It's fun. You get your community active. You watch my raid calls. We amp it up, right?
Yeah.
We do the music. We do the raid calls. I mean, it's kind of a thing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just be careful who you raid.
It seems like, too, do you find the Twitch community seems really loyal? Again, I mean, we've just dipped our toe into it so far, but it seems like when you have viewers and stuff, they're very loyal to you. Or to streamers in particular.
Yeah. Very, very loyal, very, very loving community. I could tell stories for days about their generosity and what they've helped accomplish, not just in my stream, but in many others. I mean, recently a big streamer did a 7-day fundraiser, raised a ton of money for Toys for Tots.
Was that Desert Bus? Is that what you're referring to?
No, actually, Ezekiel the Third. He did 7 days of Zeekness.
Nice.
Yeah, it was big. He raised a lot of money really fast.
that to me, that is one of the most important aspects of doing things that really involve a lot of community interaction, is being able to give back to a community by raising money for a certain charity or what.
If I may just indulge here just a little bit on that and tell you of a personal experience we just had before the holidays.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You know, speaking of generosity and kindness and caring and loyalty, right before Christmas, well, a couple weeks before Christmas, and I'd known about the situation. It wasn't, you know, openly broadcast to a lot of people. A gentleman, I won't go into detail, and I don't think he cares if we would say his name, but I'll leave it anonymous here. A gentleman that's been a part of our community, and has kind of done some back end stuff that a lot of people don't see, and has supported us more than a lot of people realize and understand. He hit a pretty big snag. He has 3 kids, and one of his kids, she was 3 years old, was hospitalized with, I believe it was a really bad like respiratory thing, and it was, you know, potentially fatal. And she was in the hospital. Granted, this hospital was a couple of hours away, so each day he'd go to work for 8 hours, drive 2 hours to the hospital to spend time with his daughter, drive back home 2 hours to spend time with his other family, go to sleep, get up, rinse and repeat for weeks on end, and basically exhausted all of his funds making sure his daughter was taken care of. And he was on the verge of, he told, only a couple of us really knew about this, he was getting ready to sell some items in his house. You know, he never asked for anything. He was just like, yeah, things are kind of tough. I'm going to sell this laptop to give my kids a Christmas. And that really just kind of tugged at our heartstrings. And I was approached by Mr. Fat Planet Entertainment, another member of the Casual Runs Live community. And he said, Smoke, we can't let that happen. And we just did an impromptu 4-hour dual cast. And we said any proceeds, anything that's donated is going to go to this gentleman and his family. And in 4 hours, we raised $1,300 for this gentleman and his kids. And we didn't keep of course, we don't lie. We didn't keep a single penny and sent it right over to him. And he and his kids had a wonderful Christmas. We got a letter and pictures. And it felt really good. You know, it feels good to give back. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great story to follow that up with, because it's just something, it's so easily done in this kind of format, where you can just say, okay, boom, impromptu freaking charity run, let's do it. And go.
It was impromptu really as awesome. Could be. It was the night before. He said, your cast is running. He said, I'm going live 4 hours after you. Let's do it. I didn't even have to second guess. Let's do it. And it happened. And you know, I'm not going to lie, it brought a tear to my eye. And it brought man, we talked to him privately afterwards. And again, it just felt good. It just felt really good.
Yeah,
and we have our communities and our loyal followers and fans to thank for that. So,
yeah. I mean, Remington and I have discussed on the podcast before how the internet is kind of this two-headed beast, you know? You can get, I'm sure you know well, also, that you can get some of the, like, most poisonous, snake-like people sometimes.
Vitriolic, yeah.
But whenever the internet comes together in a way like that to help people, and it's like this swarm all of a sudden, you know? It's heartwarming to hear those stories and see those situations.
There's actually good people on the internet. Surprise!
Believe it or not.
I know.
I will say, though, as far as Twitch goes, obviously you can't avoid the trolls. There are precautions that I personally take to avoid trolls. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I got to say that the trolls within Twitch makes up, if even 1%, and for the most part, I'd say 98, 99% of the people on Twitch are legit people. So I'm grateful for that, because there are trolls, and I can tell you stories about that too. But
so, what motivated you to become, I guess you would call it, a professional gaming entertainer?
Man, I'll tell you, it just kind of fell into my lap. This kind of a backstory. I didn't start streaming looking to make it a career. I never even knew you could. I was still fairly new to Twitch. I started watching Twitch about mid-2013, really getting into Twitch about mid-2013. I knew about it back when it was Justin TV. But I had been working from home. I had worked in IT for many years, and at this time I'd just moved to a different state, was working from home, and was working crazy long hours, and by the time I got off work, everything was closed down. It was too late to do anything. Well, I'd find myself, I was always on Twitch, whether, during work, after work, and I started just getting in with a couple of channels that I really enjoyed and interacting with these people, and I thought, man, this seems like a lot of fun. This person's playing their games and sharing their experience and talking to us. I think I could do this. This seems like a fun hobby. And that's exactly what it was a hobby. I'd get off work and I'd stream for fun. It's a very, very slow process. And it wasn't until I'd actually moved back to my home state here that it actually dawned on me that there was a chance I could do this for a living. And my viewers, my supporters were like, go for it, man. We support you. I said, okay, guys, I'm going to throw everything I have into this and we're going to go for it. And lo and behold, I'm still here. So, but the motivation really was just the love I love to entertain. I've been a musician for about 16 years. I love to talk. I was gifted with a decent voice.
Yeah. Especially when you throw that radio voice in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And the gift of gab. I was blessed with a silver tongue and the ability just to yammer. So my passion for entertaining, interacting, and gaming is really what motivated me. If I had to break it down, I'd...
So
not to ramble or anything.
No, it's fine. It's fine. That's what this podcast is all about. Is just going off on
tangents.
No, it's not really a tangent. You asked him a question and he answered it right.
He did.
Thoroughly. Let's say the word tangent. That's fucked up.
He said tangent. I didn't say tangent. Fuck you. Nobody asked for your opinion.
Well, something that I like about Twitch, and I know I'm totally derailing the conversations,
you're fine.
the questions you have, Rem, but something I really like about Twitch is it's such a personal experience, Like you have, what would you say, probably 99% of your viewers have never met you in real life? Would you say 99 is a little high, or is that about?
No, 99% sounds about right.
And, you watch somebody stream, and especially with how you have it set up, where you're watching your face as you play these games, it almost feels like you get to know someone on kind of a personal level.
Oh, no, you definitely do. At least in my channel, I if I may kind of go off of that as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Channel depending. Everybody's stream is going to be a bit different. My stream, personally, though, we do connect to each other on a personal level. I've had personal conversations. We have real-life conversations in the show and in the channel, and people will come in and share their day with us. If they're having a bad day, they will come in and share that experience with us and ask for advice or look for comfort, like we would if we were having a bad day and we called up our buddies and said, hey, I'm having a bad day. Let's go to the bar and have a couple of beers, just talk, forget about, it's good to vent. And, we pride ourselves on that. People are welcome to come in and do that. I mean, not to come in and beg for attention or anything, but legitimately like, hey, I'm happy to be here. You're helping me take my mind off things. And we share our real life experiences, our wisdoms, our advices, and, we really do connect on a personal level. And as you guys maybe have heard or maybe heard me mention, I actually have the honor of meeting some of these people here in less than 3 weeks down in Texas. So,
yeah. So you're getting ready to go down to PAX.
Yeah, PAX South.
Oh, you're going to PAX, you son of a bitch. Are you going down just to visit? Are you going to have any sort of thing set up down there?
I'm going down there the 22nd through the 26th. The convention itself is the 23rd through the 25th. We have a pretty good confirmation on all of the Casual Runs Live members, and we may want to, for the podcast's sake, describe what CRL is, but the core members of the Casual Runs Live team are going to be there, as well as a lot of our team members and supporters are going to be there. But really, from what we've been told from other people that have been to PAX, only one person that I know has been to PAX. You don't really try to plan too much because it gets kind of crazy. So nothing really set in stone. We're just going to kind of wing it, and Twitter's going to be our crutch. Hey, where are you? Let me tweet that out real quick. Come find me.
Are you going to have any way to stream from there at all?
Personally, no. A community leader, Jack Lafear. He's an old school GM, DM, D&D player. Hell of a guy. He's so good at organizing things. He runs his own Twitch podcast actually every Saturday night. He's going to be doing his Jackass PAX Cast. He does the Jackass podcast. He's doing Jackass PAX Cast because some streamers they go down and they rent a big ass house. And they'll be streaming from there. So I might make a guest appearance on there. But me personally, it's my first vacation in 4 years. I don't plan on streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. So let's go ahead and talk about Casual Runs Live then.
Okay.
So you are kind of a founding member, you said, of the
one of the founding 6 members.
Okay. Oh, there's 6? Okay, I thought there was 4.
Originally
My research
6.
was
Now there's only
faulty.
4. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I was partially right.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the community about? Tell us a little bit about the mission. What drives
CRO?
what drives
I love it, and that's a question that's brought up a lot of times, and the answer is always a bit different, but always the same. Casual Runs Live was established for like-minded people, well-natured, like-minded people who have a passion that is gaming and want to share that passion and share that experience. We don't put up with trolling people. We don't put up with cursing is allowed on this podcast, right?
Oh yeah.
All
Fuck
right,
yes.
Fuck yeah. Fuck. On this fucking podcast, what the fuck are you doing? But the ultimate goal really, and I mean, it's still in its infancy. We're just approaching the community itself. Like legitimately isn't even a year old. But the ultimate goal is just to bring like-minded people together, share these experiences, and develop friendships over time. I've made some very good friends throughout Casual Runs Live, aka CRL or Serial. That's where kind of it all started. It was a running joke. Casual Runs Live was actually a joke when it was first conceived.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's. But the ultimate goal again is just to meet new people because this is the new day and age. A lot of friendships, marriages, relationships are established online. I mean, it's we can interact with anybody all over the world. Well, we're doing this on Twitch, and it's just people just gravitate to it. It's like, hey, I'm not a speed runner, but I love playing all these different types of games, and I love to talk to people. Man, I wish there was a community for me. Well, there is.
Right.
Casual Runs Live. We're casual gamers, and we just share it. There's not really a set ultimate goal. We're not here. We don't make any money for being, Casual Runs Live. We don't have a partner. Our channel's not partnered.
Right.
Down the road, maybe the 5-year plan, to have Casual Runs Live as a partnered channel and blah blah blah. But right now, it's just to introduce each other and enjoy each other's company.
like a well-crafted forum almost.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that it started off as a joke. I think a lot of some of the best things that you can find out there start off as just a lighthearted play on Serial.
We were the 6 founding members. We all found each other early on or later in 2013 and throughout Twitch, and we all just kind of really clicked. The 6 of us just really kind of clicked, and the next thing we knew, we were all 6 in a group Skype conversation, and always just every day just talking and chatting, and then somebody's like, oh, we should totally start this community. We should get all these awesome people like us together. And then when we were kind of like, that's not a bad idea, we started going, well, let's eyeball I try to eyeball some names. And we came up with just some stupid ass names and just never would have worked. And then we still can't remember who it was. Somebody jokingly said, well, we're not speedrunners, we're just a bunch of filthy casuals. We should totally be Casual Runs Live because the Speed Runs Live is one of the biggest Twitch communities. And it just stuck. We were like, we laughed, and then we all just kind of stopped and said, damn, that's good. That's really good.
That's almost too good.
It's almost too good. And then what we also did really kind of build the hype as well, because we were, we had our people, we all have our different roles. We had some working on the site, some working on the art design, some working on promotion. We never once announced Casual Runs Live.
Oh, yeah?
The abbreviation, of course, is CRL, Serial. What we Sticks would do is we would just bounce around every day doing our normal stuff, and we'd just randomly start talking about cereal. And we really started to
You were subliminal advertising. That's
yeah, dude, we started getting in people's heads, and every time we'd show up, people are going, "What is the cereal you're talking about? What is?" For months we did this, for months. And finally we said, we're going to unveil. Stay tuned, check this out here. We're going to let you guys finally know what we've been talking about for months, and Casual Runs Live was born. And
that's awesome.
It was fun. They hated us. What is cereal? Oh, they were so mad. They were so mad.
That's awesome. Let's see, we covered schedule pretty early on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about the schedule.
It's never ending.
I wanted
60+
to,
hours a week.
while you're looking into what question you're going to ask next, I wanted to ask, I was looking at your bio a little bit on the Casual Runs Live website, and it said that you started out as a console gamer before you moved into PC.
Yep.
Which console did you get started out on? Because I know you're a few years younger than we are.
Yeah, well, when it says that, it just means when I started gaming, I was originally console. I started at 4 years old on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Not streaming. Streaming, I started from the PC and bounced around running emulators and whatnot. But yeah, starting out, I was a Nintendo kid through and through.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean personally for you. Like, where did you get, you said 4 years old on Nintendo. Like, what games stand out from your childhood that really gave you the love, obviously, for gaming?
A game that I'm branded for life with a Final Fantasy tattoo over here. Zelda on this arm. Final Fantasy 1. I was an original, not a Final Fantasy 7 baby. I was a Final Fantasy 1 baby, 4 years old, on a 13-inch black and white CRT with my older brother. And that's really, that has stuck with me. He let me push the button to it, select attack, and that's really what kind of where it started. And then from there, it just blossomed, So Nintendo blossomed into Super Nintendo. I mean, I had Sega Genesis and all that as well, but Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past.
God, Link to the Past.
Dude, have you seen my tattoos?
I saw a little bit of, you have the Triforce on the right arm, right? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a sleeve.
I'd like to expand upon it, but yeah, Link to the Past is another one that really just kind of helped shape who I am. And I laugh about it and I joke about it. Growing up, one of Mom's worst ways to punish me was to take away my video games.
Right.
And my mom never really gave me that speech. You'll never get anywhere with your life if you just play video games, because I was really kind of a jack of all trades. I played sports, I went outside, I rode bikes, I did dumb kid shit all the time. Plus I played video games. My own mother is a subscriber of my channel now. I mean, she's subscribed as soon as I got a button. She bought a t-shirt the other day. We have our Teespring campaign alive. She came on stream just the other night, drank a little bit of whiskey and played some Mario with me in front of about 180 people. And she, and I joke about it, and I my mother never ever berated me. She's always supported me in everything I've done. I always joke, I'm like, when you're a kid, your mom tells you you'll never get anywhere playing video games. Well, I'm lucky enough now. That's what I do for a living, and it's crazy. Yeah. But I digress. Your question was, what got you into it? It was a lot of those classics, old school Nintendo games. I started out with the Mega Mans, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Ninja Gaiden, you name it, and really just kind of grew from there.
Here's a pretty decisive topic I've noticed in the RPG community. Whenever you're playing Final Fantasy, do you rename the characters, or do you keep them with their original names?
Ooh, that's a toughie. First playthroughs, I always keep them the same. Mm-hmm. But as I've done with mini games, actually Pokemon, A lot of people wouldn't consider it an RPG, but I think it's classic turn. When I think RPG, I think classic turn-based battle style. I think.
Oh, Pokemon is about as classic RPG as you can get.
Yeah, a lot of people will argue that, and I'm like, you're stupid. But
it's an RPG with like 150, 250, 400 different characters.
Exactly. To answer your question, first playthroughs, I typically keep the names the same. But when it comes to live streaming it, as a way to interact with my community, and we're always looking for ways to expand and improve and be as available for the community as possible, I actually raffle off names for characters.
Oh, nice.
We're going to do a raffle, the winner of this character gets to be named after Barrett, or this person gets to be named after Pikachu, whatever the case may be, and it's just a fun way to incorporate your chat into it. So first playthroughs, names the same. Second playthroughs or third, fourth, 10th playthroughs, whatever the game is, I'll raffle them off. It's on a case-by-case basis.
Do you keep Link as Link?
Link is always
Legend of
Link.
Zelda?
Link is always Link.
I like to think that he's this 1,000-year-old Link who has just gone through every one of these stories.
Someone's like, name him Zelda. And you just want to punch him in the face.
So where did the name Smokaloke come from?
I was just asked this question yesterday. It's asked at least once every week.
Oh, I figured. There are a lot of the questions that people who are from your channel will come and watch this, and they'll say, oh my god, I have to hear this fucking story again? Come on.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, the name Smokaloke came during my Xbox Live days, back when I was playing Call of Duty and all that fun stuff, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2. I originally was Fly Ninja back in the day. And I don't know what possessed me or what prompted me to change, but at some point I was like, I want a different name. I want to change things a little bit. And I think I was actually smoking a cigarette while sitting there, looking at the Xbox keyboard dashboard to think of a name, and I was like, Smokaloke. And it just kind of rolled off my tongue. And it was born. There wasn't really any deciding factors. I was smoking, and it just rolled off my tongue. That's it.
Right.
Nothing special.
Fair enough.
That's why my Xbox Live user handle is sadly masturbating on the couch. For the same reason.
See, and mine's El Fatiachi, which came from my stint as a mariachi band person.
And also your rotund shape.
Yeah. Bacon pancakes.
Making bacon pancakes.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of, getting on to the technical side of streaming and twitching, I know. You want to give us like a quick rundown of maybe the software that you use or the hardware, just what you do to make your shit happen.
To make it all happen. And being a part of being one of the community leaders, one of the spearheads of Casual Runs Live, we pride ourselves on helping other streamers and educating them and teaching them and offering advice. I'm asked quite often. I have to answer a lot of messages, a lot of mail about, hey, I'd like to get into streaming. Can you give me some tips? As far as hardware goes, you can be very basic or you can be very intricate. You can do a fairly cheap setup, or you can go pretty expensive. Myself personally, I've got quite a bit of money sank into this. Personally, I run an i7. I run an i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 2 GTX 660s. I also run an AverMedia PCIe card. What that's for is so I can connect HD consoles like my Wii U and PlayStation. There's 2 more pieces of hardware, a Wii U and a PlayStation 4. In order for me to stream from them, I actually connect them to a PCIe card, the AverMedia, that's attached to my motherboard. I run 3 32-inch monitors, countless controllers here, PS4 controller, Xbox 360 controller, Wii U gamepad, Wii U Pro controller, lots and lots of stuff. But for the most part, a lot of what people would really need is a very solid processor. I used to run an AMD Phenom 2, and it ran pretty well, except for whenever you started getting into the higher, the bigger name games. But a solid processor, enough RAM to back it, because OBS, Open Broadcast Software, is the software I use to stream. It's very resource intensive. It really chews up a lot of resources on top of, every other window you have open. You've got to have a chat window open. I use FooBar visual music visualizer. I use Rainwave OCC for my music. The list goes on, man.
Yeah, I understand that completely, especially because I've got, 7 different scenes up in this.
Yep.
I've got everything on
You know what I'm talking about.
I've got everything on a global source and running FooBar in the background and in fact...
It's a lot happening at one time.
Yeah, it really is. And when we do retrograders, I don't have nearly as much going on, and it seems to work out all right.
Sure.
And I think, as we saw, we tried to stream this live, and now we are just recording it.
It happens.
My stream just died, just straight up died. So, and I think we had some technical issues with my router. It's going bad, so that's one of a myriad of things that can go wrong when you're doing something like this.
Well, and it's just the typical, the whole Murphy's Law thing. But, Murphy's Law, half the time, you don't think about Murphy's Law unless something goes wrong,
Right.
Most of the time, things really do go right. But anytime we have tried to do this, something has always happened. Yeah. I literally think Murphy is in this closet just shaking his finger at us.
Well, if you watch really close on the video, you'll see the door crack just a little bit behind Brandon's head, and you'll see Murphy peek his head out and be like, "What's up, fuckers?
Hey guys, how you doing?"
Just giving us the finger in the background.
Oh, I forgot to include in the equipment as well, and a lot of streamers don't use them. You guys actually said something earlier about my green screen.
Yeah.
I do run a 10 by 12 green screen here, which I just rehung and redone additional lighting as well. But
yeah, that's one of the things that I've learned just researching streaming and video making, because I've done. I did the intro video for the Retrograders. Have you had a chance to check it out?
No, I haven't. I actually wanted to talk to you about that once it's all said and done.
Well, I put together just a real quick opening thing where I have a 3D circle that spins from a slim axis open, and a beam that shoots in. And I've got sound in the background. It's like a humming, wah-wah humming sort of deals.
All right.
And it was my first foray into kind of the 3D rendering, which was really exciting. I forget where I was going.
Yeah, I'm just staring at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Lost what I was talking
and then I went and got some soda from the gas station. And gas, right? Expensive.
Yeah, super expensive.
So
Really
your
cheap.
green screen, is it just like a pull down, or
That's
is it
what it is.
mounted on like 4 corners?
No, it's mounted. It's 10 by 12. It is actually stapled to my wall. Since you guys actually have video, I will show you. I actually just had to rehang it, stapled on the wall. It's so big that I actually had to fold up the bottom. And then
Right.
just for multicast purposes, when we bring other people in, I have it wrapped around the corner there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's actually stapled to the wall.
Because something I noticed about your channel when I was checking it out, I haven't watched a whole lot of Twitch, honestly, so I'm coming from kind of a new viewer perspective.
Sure.
But seeing with the green screen, you being kind of in the corner while playing the game, it's neat. It seems like one of those little touches that I felt like really added something to your channel.
I agree. And I used to not run a green screen. I had, a small block on the left side of my channel set for my camera square, and then chat above that. And then, the game kind of compressed to fit in to everything, to try to keep it clean and as neat as possible. And then as the channel started growing and I wanted to start improving, I ended up building when I first got the green screen, I ended up having to use 1¼ inch PVC pipe and built this makeshift shitty rack that I could mount it through, and it worked. But
Yeah.
and due to space limitations and everything, but got to keep improving, man. It's a never-ending battle, and you can never. And I think this goes, for really anything in life, you can never stop improving. You'll never be perfect at anything. So that was actually my New Year's resolution, was to become better, and I've actually taken multiple steps already.
That's what I was going back to. That's what I was roundabout going to say, is with a green screen, what I've learned is backlighting the green screen is
Key.
as, if not more important than lighting yourself.
Yeah.
It's super important to have a really even lighting across the entire screen, because otherwise you get different. Yeah, exactly.
If I do this, you guys can see this. Our audio viewers can't see this, but I turned off one of my lights, and I have one side is really dark green, one side is really light green with a giant splash of light here. And whenever you go to use chroma key, it picks up like this is the color you choose, and you can tweak, adjust similarities and blends to a degree. After a while, you'll cut your face off, or your eyes will be invisible, or you'll smile and you'll just have no teeth. It can get really technical.
I'll notice that when you actually turn your head and you have your green screen on.
My headset and stuff. Yeah, like there's a hole in. It looks like there's a hole in my head.
Yeah, there's a hole right through your head.
Yeah, fun stuff.
As far as time limit goes, so we know where to go, how much more time you think you have? Like
as much as you guys need, man. My people know where I'm going to be, and it's all good, man.
Okay, so we probably maybe about 10, 15 more minutes, 15 max to finish up.
I mean, I don't know. I think we've pretty much covered.
Well, we can still talk for a few about games and stuff.
I was going to say, if you want to do your stories and have him chime in and talk about games and stuff, yeah.
Well, I was just interested more. We kind of started at the beginning, but I didn't really get into it a whole lot because we were kind of in that nebulous area where we didn't know if we were recording or whatever. But with PC games, are there certain games that you typically run, or like that you play or prefer, or are you just kind of all over the place with different things?
Awesome question. Actually, another question that's asked quite a bit. And that's one of those things. Again, it's going to be a case-by-case basis per Twitch channel. Me personally, I'm a variety caster. I will go all over the place. I'll play everything from, we've done NES Classics Week, Super Nintendo games, Nintendo 64, New Age PC games. I've done RPGs, platformers, anything and everything. But there are certain games that I actually do avoid. And for specific reasons, I do not play, and it's actually posted in my profile, as I don't play RTS, real-time strategies, MOBAs, sports games, and something else. But there are certain games I will avoid. And no offense to any GTA or Halo players out there, but I will not play Grand Theft Auto, and I will not play Halo on my stream. And the main reason is something, was kind of brought up earlier, was trolls and a toxic chat. Those particular types of games are known, and I can tell you I know a channel right off the top of my head that really made that's where their channel exploded, was playing these games that attracted trolls, and that's something we've worked very hard in my channel alone, let alone, Casual Runs Live, as we avoid, the toxicness, the trolls and stuff. So certain games I won't play, but as far as what I'll play, man, I'm everywhere. Last week we were playing Wings of V, another Solgren game. Guy made I Want to Be the Boshi and I Want to Be the Guy, and then we just started Mario games lately, so it's all over the place.
It seems like starting out, and I've tried to be conscious of this when doing the podcast and also doing Retrograders. Realistically, there are a million people doing close to the same thing, right? I'm not saying exactly what you're doing, but with the ease that you can get on Twitch if you have the setup, or even record and do a podcast, starting out, I feel like anyway, starting out you have to do something to differentiate yourself a little bit. I mean, do you agree with that? Well, yeah, I guess. Well, I guess my long-winded point really is that it seems like at first, to get people in, you need to be different enough or offer them something different enough that they're going to say, hey, here's a reason for me to check out this new person, whether it be personality or the types of games you play or whatever. And then as your fan base grows, you have a little more leeway now to say, okay, now I can kind of play whatever. I've got a fan base there that is watching just as much for me as they are for the game.
You are right, and if I may share my opinion on that as well. You have something that you look like you're about to...
No, I was moving my cigarettes over.
Okay. You're absolutely right. As Twitch, is becoming more and more popular, so is at the same time the streaming market is becoming more and more saturated, and everybody thinks they can do it. Everybody. I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing to say. Everybody wants to do it, and everybody,
Right.
and I think that's a great thing. Sharing that experience. When we were kids, we played video games and we got to play games with our friends. One person would be playing one player and 3 friends would be yelling at him over his shoulder like, "You suck, give me the controller." Now we're taking that experience and playing video games with our friends from all over the world. But again, it is becoming more saturated. And yes, you're absolutely right. You do have to set yourself apart, because I get those messages quite often. "Hey, can you help me get started? I'd really like to do this." Absolutely. I'd love to help. And one piece of advice I do offer is set yourself, what's going to set you apart from this other streamer. So let's say you and one other guy are playing the same game. Why would they want to watch you as opposed to this person? Are you going to be the crazy hat guy? Are you going to be the guy that smokes on stream? Are you going to be the guy with the radio voice? What is going to be different about you? Or are you going to be active with your chat? At the same time, something you said that really kind of made me think of another point, and I can give you a prime example. I won't say their name. I set the expectation of my channel very early on, and I got into streaming before it really started to get super saturated. I mean, it was getting pretty big, but wasn't as saturated as it is now. I set the expectation as a variety caster very early on. I mean, right at the get-go of my streaming career. It's like, I'm just going to play whatever the fuck I want to play.
Right.
You do have to consider what you personally will enjoy, what your viewers will enjoy, and what, of course, is going to possibly net you some exposure. There's a lot of different factors there. Now, here's one problem. I've had some people that, and a lot of streamers have done this, they'll play one particular game and peak, and they'll just get these crazy amounts of viewers and do so very well with one particular game. And I actually know of a streamer that obtained partnership throughout Twitch with one particular game. And they were like 250, 300 viewers every single day playing this game, and it was amazing. We were happy for them. And then they stopped playing that game, and now they barely pull 10 viewers a day.
Yeah.
So I think setting an expectation, letting your viewers know what kind of caster you're going to be from the start, and deciding yourself what kind of streamer you're going to be from the start is very, very, very important. So many variables, so many factors go into it. But yeah, setting yourself apart, deciding what kind of streamer you're going to be is two big things.
Backlight, front light.
So in the particular streamer you were talking about then, just now, again, obviously not saying names or anything, for them, would your advice have been, hey, you know what works for you? You're getting these people watching you do this game. You should continue to play. Or, in your opinion, anyway, should they have been more vocal as they continued to play? Like, hey, guys, I think after this, next game is going to be such and such. What do you all think?
At this point in his streaming career, yes. What works for him works for him. An example of my own, because I'm a realist, I set my expectations. Where my channel really started to explode, where I started really gaining exposure and a lot of new viewers, and I still have retained a lot of those viewers, was during the Dark Souls games, during the Souls series, which are amazing, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I was pulling in just crazy amounts of viewers, and I was open and honest. I said live on stream, I said, hey, everybody, welcome to the show, blah, blah, blah. I don't expect to see some of you ever again unless I play another Souls game. But I think that set a lot of that expectation, and to this day, still, many of them are still recurring. They still ask me, hey, when are you going to play another Souls game? But for that particular streamer, and I hated to see him peak and then plummet, I would say at this point, whether he's just doing it as a hobby, and I never recommend anybody ever start streaming to make it a career, because it is insanely difficult to be able to do this. The amount of time, sacrifice, money, you alienate friendships and lose time with your friends and family over this. It's kind of a sad story, but at this point, if he's just wanting to do it as a hobby and continue to be a variety caster, I say go for it. Play whatever the hell you want to play. But if he's looking to make the money and make it a career and be able to quit his full-time job, he needs to go back to what he peaked on.
Yeah.
So, every channel, it's such a wild, untapped market. It's so crazy.
It seems like if you're really wanting to be a variety caster, the personality really has to be there more than the games themselves.
True.
Because if people like what they see in you as a caster, they're not really going to care what you're playing. They're looking for that reaction that you have that makes them cringe. It's like I was telling one of the people that I work with about what you do, and she's an older lady, and she was very confused by why people would want to watch this.
Well, she didn't even know what a computer was, right?
No. She's like, well, I'll play the games, but I don't want to watch somebody playing games. And it's one of those things that I had to kind of explain to her. I was like, well, for instance, he was playing Mario Kart, and even though I'm not a huge Twitch watcher myself, tuning into your stream, I'm tuning in for you more than what you're playing. But especially with the Mario Karts, you're taking those turns and you're just fucking barely hanging on to the bridge, and I'm like, oh, fuck, shit, oh, he's gonna go over. So there's that, it's almost an adrenaline boost because of the way that it's being portrayed, it's almost like you're playing it as well.
Sure.
So, or you can go in and say, well, fuck, I would have done this differently,
Yeah.
Well, something amazing, I think, is how our generation, and even more so, 12-year-old kids that are just getting into the teens, online stuff, a lot of time is their television now. Twitch streamers or YouTube videos. The whole advent of I'm going to turn on cable and watch a cartoon versus I have a 7-year-old daughter versus, hey, she wants me to put on one of the family-friendly YouTube stream or Minecraft streamers on YouTube. And that's the television they watch. And I think it's really interesting to see as Twitch continues to boom. And I mean, Twitch is already gigantic. I'm not saying, oh, here comes the underdog. But to watch it continue to boom and see how popular online people are and how you can just have a good personality and start to get followers, and suddenly you're gaining internet fame and internet celebrity, as it were,
Right. I've had actually, in quite a few cases where actually two of my big supporters, they're a husband and wife. I've had other pairs and other people say, yeah, I canceled my television service and I pretty much just watch Twitch all day. Because it is really strange. You were trying to explain to a coworker what it is I do. It is hard for me to tell people what I do. I never really try to bring it up in conversation if I'm hanging out with a group of people or whatever the case may be. And I haven't seen him in a while because I moved away for a couple of years, and I came back.
Right.
Like, how you doing, man? What's new? And I'm like, oh, just plugging along, living the dream. And what have you been up to? And then typically it comes around. So what do you do? What are you doing now? Where are you working now? Well, I play video games for a living. Just to take it down. I'm like, I play video games, and they go, dude, that's got to be the coolest job ever. Yeah, it's cool as hell. It's stressful. A lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes and what's required. Did you know? You never would have thought, but deciding a game to play is actually quite difficult.
Oh yeah,
because there's so many variables again. But when people legitimately go, can you kind of explain this real quick? And I say, okay, think radio DJ, think television with live interaction. Combine those three together. You're watching a video game, something's constantly happening, live interactive entertainment, and me talking and talking either to you or talking at all times. Well, I talk all the time, but that's the best way I can describe it. I wish there was a more solidified option, but yeah, I play video games for a living and I talk to you.
Yeah, I was talking to a different coworker about it, and he was very interested in how some people can find an alternative revenue to live off of, and that's exactly what it is. It's such a completely different type of job
Yep.
But it's still a job. I mean, there's just
I signed
a
tax
ton of
forms.
stuff.
Yeah, I signed tax forms when I became partnered. It's legit.
Yeah. Well, there was. Have you ever heard of Game Breaker?
I don't think so.
Game Breaker TV. I originally found them because they did a World of Warcraft podcast or video cast, and they blew up a bit, and then they moved on to you can place advertising in whatever you're wanting to do and maybe make a little bit of revenue off of that. And when I first kind of signed up for it, because I was looking into that sort of thing, just to kind of supplement extra stuff so we could pay for more equipment.
Right.
It never really went anywhere with us because we have such a very small number of people who listen to us.
Tried to put it as nicely as possible.
Yeah, because
Ad
we're
revenue
terrible.
is very small.
Yeah.
Well,
know
and
that
particularly as a podcaster, I mean,
Yeah.
I can think of 3 famous podcasters, and they all started out somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting rich off of podcasting, and where you're able to do it as your job now is because you put in a shit ton of work to get where you are. The equipment and the consistency, especially. I know that's a big thing. Is you say I stream from this time to this time, and you stream from that time to that time.
Yeah, that is another. It's such a huge can of worms. But yeah, when people ask for the advice, I'd like to get into it. I say, look, if you're really dedicated, if you're really potentially wanting to make something out of this, consistency is key, and I'm sure that goes with anything, YouTubing, podcasting. Once you start to build a small base to a medium base to a larger base, people start to depend on you to be there at a certain time. I could stream at random times, and I would net different people and this and that, but having that recurring viewer, the loyal viewership is because I'm dedicated, because I'm there from a certain time to a certain time, minimally.
Right.
If not, I'm like, I'll tweet it out if something's happening. I'm not going to be here. Today I said, hey guys, I'm going to be starting a little bit late. I'll be, doing a podcast here with the Dueling Ogres, and like, all right, man, we'll see you in a little bit. I'd let them know. But yeah, consistency, it really is key. It really is key.
Yeah.
Bourbon
That's,
also helps.
Are you a big bourbon drinker?
Yes.
Do you have a specific kind of bourbon, or is it just bourbon?
The cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't make I don't make a ton of money. I'm not a millionaire or anything like that, streaming or anything. But I'm a simple man with very simple needs, and I've been drinking just $20 bottles of bourbon for the last about 4 months, and they're really. I mean, every occasionally I'll treat myself and get it. We just polished off a nice bottle of the Redbreast 12. One of my viewers said, "Hey, you need to get some good whiskey. I want you to pick this up. Here you go." Occasionally we'll have a sip of the nice stuff, but a good, cheap, smooth bourbon. Oh, speaking of which, check it out. We actually have custom Smokaloke bourbon glasses. I got them for Christmas. My buddy made them.
Oh, that
I
is
can't really see
awesome.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. He's like, well, you look like you can kind of use these. I'm like, what are you calling me, an alcoholic? No? Okay.
I'll take them anyway, thank you.
Well, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah. I'm not going to not drink out of them. I mean, but yeah, consistency is a major, major factor. It's each day. Again, a lot of people don't see what goes behind the scenes and what kind of prep work it takes. And you've had some experience with OBS and doing setups and scenes. I do have to do audio checks, lighting checks, everything every day. About 45 minutes before I actually go live, I'm sitting at my computer. I'm still watching other streams and networking, because networking and interacting with other streamers and communities is important. I'm doing sound checks and doing setups to make sure everything is going to work right from the get-go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'll get in there, and a half an hour before my stream starts, people start filtering in. They just know to expect me at a certain time. I'll be sitting in there, and they can see that I'm in the lobby, and they'll be like, "Hey, Smoke,
Yeah.
what's going on, man? How you doing?" "I'm good, just doing some setup. How you doing today, brother?" Consistency.
Yeah.
Great questions. I love these questions.
Which is hilarious because I did very little preparation outside of watching your channel to get an idea of how it went. So
That's one of the things that Brandon's really good at. He can just come up with the questions. I have a list of questions that I jumped around on a little bit, but half of them he had got to before I'd even while I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on with Twitch.
I have 2 news stories I want to run through them real quick, and then we can start to wrap up, right?
Sure.
Oh, here it is. All right, so the first one I saw, and I wanted to get your opinion, especially on this one, if you have an opinion on it. The University of Pikeville in Kentucky is now offering sports scholarships to League of Legends players.
You want my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the second school in the U.S. that's offering this.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's awesome. As the generations have changed, back in the day it was, jocks rule, nerds, beat up the nerds. Nerds, we've taken over the planet. Nerds run the planet.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Sony, you name it. The nerds. We've been a growing population for a long time. And did you guys happen to see? I used to play League. I don't play or watch anymore. I'm just kind of bored of it. But did you guys happen to see the League of Legends World Tournaments? Mm-hmm. Just alone on Twitch, was over 600,000 people watching it, and then they had an entire football stadium filled with it. These professional gamers are a new style of athlete. And people may think it's stupid and it's a time waster. No, it takes a lot of time and dedication, and these guys are good at what they do. And I'm a firm believer, if you are good at what you do, never do it for free. So I think scholarships are a great idea for the new age athletes.
Yeah. There's, to go on that point, there is, people don't think about it a whole lot, but NASCAR drivers, for instance, will keep themselves in a fairly good shape. And it's not because they just want to keep in shape, or that they're just sitting in a car driving around in a circle for fucking an hour. But, they're driving super fast, so they have to have high reflex times.
Yep.
And that's a very similar aspect to gaming. I mean, especially on a pro gaming circuit, you have to be in a pretty good shape to get to a pro level. Your body has to be healthy so you can have that quick twitch reaction time to be able to, take down the enemy or take down the opposing team.
If I may, just quickly on that as well. I know you guys are trying to wrap up here, but
oh no, keep going. Whatever, man.
AGDQ. Are you guys familiar with AGDQ?
No, I saw somebody say it in the chat, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome games done quick. I'll just give you last year's just as a prime example as how far the video gaming community and actually professional gaming and having those reflexes and training goes into is a huge factor. AGDQ is awesome games done quick. They do it each year. Last year they did AGDQ, where they have some of the best speedrunners, part of the speedrunning community, come into a convention center. It's a week-long event, charity for the fight against cancer. And last year, AGDQ was still relatively new, and they said, okay, welcome to AGDQ 2014, week-long event, 24/7 speed runs. I mean, it's live 24/7 for a week, live right now. Sonic and Knuckles was actually done earlier today, which was cool. They said last year, we're going to set a goal of $100,000 for this entire week's fundraiser. And as Twitch and as the gaming community and speedrunning professional gaming has gotten bigger, they blew that $100,000 out of the water. And AGDQ said, okay, well, we weren't expecting this. Let's do $200,000. Blew that out of the water. And AGDQ said, fuck it. Let's do it $500,000 as our goal for this week. Fuck your $500,000. People donate. And then 30 minutes, because I was there to the bitter end. I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to go to work at 10 a.m. because I wanted to be there for it. Because I feel it was a piece of nerd or Twitch history. The last 30 minutes, and I donated quite a few times in that week. They broke $1 million in 1 week of playing video games, of speed running video games. Nerds getting together, playing video games. Professional. I mean, these guys are comes into factor. They have to train. They have their reflexes have to be on point. The memorization goes into it. they raised $1 million for cancer research. And you tell me video games aren't, people try to argue, video games are a waste of time. Yeah, you can, whatever. $1 million.
You, sir, can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Yeah, I think the whole mentality is starting to come around to the fact that, like, even people, even older people who are saying, what, a scholarship for video games? That's stupid. And then you see that some of these professional players have, like, sponsorships.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it really is like another sport at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going for some sponsorships myself this year.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I gunned for one last year just to test the waters, and I actually did get one. I was approved for one sponsorship from one company, but I rejected it. I just wanted to see if I could actually do it.
Right.
But I wasn't sure. I'm still unsure on how everything plays out, so I actually turned it down.
Yeah. So how do you go about looking for a sponsorship? I mean, since we're on the subject.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same as as you guys said, professional gamers. These leaguers, they have they're wearing jackets and headsets and lanyards and stuff, and they're sponsoring these. It's a promotional thing. Advertisement is huge. I mean, that's the market. People pay millions to get their commercial shown on the Super Bowl and whatnot. But honestly, a lot of people are sponsored by, like, Monster Energy drinks, Red Bull, Steel Series, gaming companies, and computer and hardware and software companies. Basically, you go to their website, and a lot of websites actually have a thing. Are you looking for sponsorship? Click on this, fill out a shitload of information. Why should I sponsor you? Depending on the company, they some of them have a direct sponsorship link. Like, I remember one that I looked at. I've actually been looking at, says, what kind of sponsorship are you looking for? $1,000, $10,000, $500,000. I mean, they're like, you set a goal in your sponsorship application. Kind of scary. It's kind of a scary process.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's like, how much am I worth? $1. Sponsor me for $1. But, yeah.
I feel like I had looked into affiliate stuff, say audio or audible.com or, fucking domain.com, just that sort of thing. And it's even that is a little daunting to be like, I don't know if I want to, actually go into the technical monetary fucking deal to see if.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared about this tax season. I have no idea this is a whole new beast, guys. This is Twitch. Yeah. I'm a little concerned.
I think you just don't have to do your taxes. I've never heard of anything bad happening if you just skip them,
I'll get right on not doing that.
So what else do you have, Brandon?
All right, here's my other news story. If you're watching this is videos on YouTube. If you're watching it in the future, this news story
happened in the past.
Broke yesterday, so January 6th, 2014. And I won't say the man's name because he's been charged, but right now this is allegedly. So to cover all legal bases, you say allegedly. I think that's how not knowing anything about law works.
Right.
In Delray Beach, Florida, a 40-year-old pet store owner, this is so bad, was charged with 1 count of cruelty to animals and 2 counts of battery for taking a bearded dragon. And are you familiar, Smoke, with a bearded dragon?
Yeah.
Taking a bearded dragon, putting the front end of it into his mouth, alive. The animal's fine. I should say that now. Putting the front end of the animal into his mouth, and then assaulting his employees, assaulting them by whipping them with the tail end of the bearded dragon.
What?
So, I do want to say the animal was fine. So, I'm not laughing at the cruelty aspect, but, like, what set of... How does a mind work to say, hey, here's the idea. They're not doing warehouse work fast enough. This is how I'm going to get them.
What?
I'm just trying that mental picture, man.
Yeah.
Well, because, I mean, a bearded dragon's like, what, this big? Like, they're not a small creature, are they?
No, they're pretty good size, and yeah, they're a pretty good size animal.
Jesus.
I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Just why?
Why are people so weird? Why?
There's like 1,000 other ways that I could whip you like an inanimate object, not a living creature.
Well, I mean, even if you're in a pet store, birds work as darts.
Yeah.
Just let out all the cats from the cage. I mean, I've seen enough movies to know they just go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You get that fucking cloud of smoke and just claws and whiskers flying everywhere.
Here, I thought the internet desensitized me to everything, but man, that's just odd.
Well, and speaking about Dark Souls, that almost seems like something you would encounter in Dark Souls, doesn't it? With the weird amount of enemies you see. Like just a guy with a lizard tongue hanging out of his mouth.
I think that's already in there, actually.
Yeah.
Strangest assault ever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for notes.
Hell of an
All
ending.
right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up and let you get back to your loyal community. And make sure to tell them thank you for at least trying to come and see us fail miserably at live streaming a fucking podcast.
Well, and something we've started doing at the end of our podcast is we'll pick a name and we'll thank that person for listening to our podcast.
I actually have a specific one today.
Oh, you do have a specific
Yes.
one? Well, I was going to let him choose the name
Oh.
this time.
Well, I tell you what, you can choose the name. And then I'll also give this person a shout out because I promised them.
Is there a list that I get to choose from?
Nope, just pick a random
We
name.
pick
out
a
of
random
hat.
name and thank them. In case a person with that name is listening, it's like we're thanking them personally.
Oh, neat. So do I just say like a random? I don't know how this works. Just say a random name.
Yeah, just pick a name.
Bob or Bobby.
Bobby works because you can spell it with an I and it's a girl.
Yeah.
So we've got both sexes covered.
There we go. Beautiful, beautiful choice, sir.
Yeah.
Right, good on you. Yeah, Bobby. We're really glad that you tuned in to listen to us, and if you're watching us on YouTube, we're really glad that you joined us there as well. You get to see our beautiful faces, and how poorly I switch scenes in OBS. You get to see the lovely green screen behind Smoke here. And if you tried to tune into Twitch, I'm sorry that I am such a failure.
We love you, Bobby.
We love you, Bobby.
And Bobby, I have to say, the pants that you wear, I know that your family gives you shit for them, but I like them, and I say keep wearing them.
I mean, they are a little weird, but in a good way. In a good way. You're finding your identity, and I think that's more important than anything else that you could do, Bobby.
Yeah. All right, that's enough of that.
I'd also like to give a shout out to a guild member in World of Warcraft. She listened to the podcast, she said she really liked it, and she asked for a shout out. So this goes out to Erin from the guild, Dragonfire on Bloodhoof. She says that she likes 4.0 better than 3.5, and I hate her for that. She feigns grossness, or she feigns shock at the gross things that we say in C3, and she also tries to get noobs to delete their System32 files.
Does she really try to do that?
She really tried to do that.
That is evil as shit.
She is evil as shit.
It's like when you'd go onto forums and you couldn't figure out, or you'd be in a chat room and be like, how do I do this? And inevitably somebody would be like, Alt F5.
Alt F4.
Alt F4.
Yeah, you can't even get your fucking F keys right. What's wrong with you? Do you even remember what gaming on a computer
I've never seen a
is?
computer in my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, God, so...
Another fantastic ending from Dueling Ogres.
So if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself mentioned on here, you can reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, or email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the podcast page or the Facebook. Also, to be sure to give us a 5-star review on iTunes and a thumbs up or a comment on Stitcher or on YouTube. That helps to boost us higher on the cool kids list. And also a thank you to Smokaloke. You can find his Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Smokaloke, or you can also find his Twitter at Smokaloke, and that is with zeros in place of the O. Oh yeah, I got you, buddy.
He remembered!
Yeah.
Was
I even put
the
little
were the
snippets.
zero were the letter O taken, Or did you just choose the zeros?
Yeah, some prick took Smokaloke.
Bastard.
Some stupid bastard.
So
Actually,
you're
it's a
not
chick.
you're not advocating going to Twitter and taunting the person with the O's instead of zeros in their names.
No, I won't advocate it, but I just want to know where they got that name because I've been Smokaloke for years. Anyway, O's, not zeros. Zeros,
Right.
not O's. Excuse me.
You will have, for the podcast listeners, we'll have a link in the show notes to that as well.
Avoid it at all costs. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. It's definitely been a lot of fun talking and stuff.
Yep, thanks. We really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me, man.
All right. I think that wraps up another podcast, Mr. Brandon. Thanks again, and
Mr.
we will
Brandon.
see you. What?
Mr. Brandon.
Mr.
You've
Brandon.
never called me that in my entire
Brandon.
life.
And while we wait, some light tunes by Smokaloke.
I was really hoping for something there.
Wait, you want me to sing a song?
Yes.
Yeah, sing a song.
Okay. We'll take you back to the past. Song that many of you guys may know. Gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you ever heard. He's the angry video game nerd.
Nice.
Missed a couple lines there, but really hard to play when you can't hear yourself.
Yeah.
That's why we have this.
Shut up, Dad. When my door's closed, you don't come in.
You have to knock!
All right. Anyway, sorry.
All right.